cool level. Okay, that was Alien Dream Emulator by Kira999. Very interesting level. Moving on to 5th place, we have Final Orbit by Blee and More. I believe MSM12 is involved with this level. Yep, there we have it straight in the intro. Okay, so this level is very cinematic. Obviously, I've seen it because whenever Blee drops a level, you gotta tap in. So it starts off with this giant spaceship, which is changing its perspective in the distance. There's a lot of cool camera work in this level to make every shot in the intro, which is unbelievable to say, by the way, having intro shots in a GD level. But still, look at the perspective in the room. We have pictures on the wall, art that could be transferred into GD levels, just discarded, thrown onto the wall, just completely set aside. It's ridiculous. It's such an impressive accomplishment that Blee is always able to just create very small little pockets of art that don't really build up much of the level, but serve just as something nice to look at. We have amazing particle usage for this beam in the center, and then also I saw these little dancing squares, and this too. There's a lot of interesting animated details on this panel. Cool reflection on the bottom as well. Sorry, I'll stop skipping around and just show the level. But this level is really interesting. It doesn't go with your regular GD level format. It builds itself up to be a lot more than what it is. We have a meteor falling from the sky, amazing sound effect usage, and just building up this whole level to be the fact that there is an incoming meteor. I just love the look of this panel. I wish something like that would be factored more into the level, because what you get at the result of all of this is a pretty interesting looking art level going through space. And I wish I had more of these technological elements in the blocks, just as a nitpick criticism, but I have pretty much nothing bad to say about this level. I love the blaring alarms, the title screen with Final Orbit, and then we go diving into the level. We jump from these pieces of the ship, which have been completely blown up by this meteor, which is a fantastic continuation of the story. The low gravity feels insane. I haven't really seen it executed this well. The fact that the camera follows the player, and we have this blue light that is following the player, this like interesting glow that's lighting up the rest of the level. But look how just animated this whole thing looks. Everything is warping and bending. There's so much emphasis placed on every single jump. This is just a masterpiece. I don't understand how these creators do this so well, but it feels so natural. We have a clock with the rocks circling around. It's very odd to have the player placed on the right-hand side of the screen, but you can see that there are 2 players involved here. Quite interesting to look at. And I just love the colors. This is a perfect use of purple and orange. It's one of my favorite color combinations. We're zooming down, and we have the cinematic sequence where it cuts through, and then we're going super high speed through the rest of the level. Now, I love how sparkly this whole thing looks. It uses a lot of these small glow objects around the orbs. You can see these just little particles, and they're matched very well with shining stars and other objects that are glistening in the sunlight or wherever we are. Background is deliberately made very blurry, just so the level feels more fast-paced. We have lots of objects just floating through the middle. This is just a masterpiece in design, and honestly, the camera work is very underrated in this level. I think it adds a lot to the actual feeling here, having the camera stick so closely to the player through this section, and then we zoom out into the distance. It really juxtaposes the areas of the level where the player is more floaty and less attached to the camera. It adds a lot to those static shots. Ooh. Unfortunately, these arrows overlay the player, but that's just such a small nitpick. It's moving so fast. You can just see that the background is just like made, it's not like super sharp, but it looks very vivid at the same time. And it's kind of like the Blee special to have a bunch of details that when they're moving quickly, you can't really see what's going into them, and it looks realistic, but when you pause, you can start to pick out GD objects, and you can see how well optimized this level is. Certain transitions in this level, like this, where we are in space, you see the outline of a ship getting made, and then it transitions into the real thing. And just look at the color work on this thing. We have a colored vignette around the edge. We have radio blur that's really selling the whole thing, making it feel a lot more immersive. And all of the movements are so finely adjusted. I'm gonna look at the ship section one more time. I really like that transition. I think it's using a bulge shader. You see a circle form around here, and it becomes the background where a clock fades in so seamlessly. And even the ship comes down from an angle at this point in the level. You see upside down, and then you rotate down to the regular ship. It's actually so insane how well this is pulled off. There's so many different details. The narrative is very strong, going from start to finish, getting hit by a meteor and then going all the way through. I know a lot of people maybe looked at this and thought, hey, it's just like a fast-paced, impressive art level, right? But it is very interconnected once you pour into the details of it. The outlines on the clouds, this is so crazy. It's so cool. I skipped the intro on my other attempt, but I figured I should actually go through this just so I can give some more thought on this level. This has some of my favorite gameplay that I've played through so far, in my opinion. I just think it works super well. I really, really like the cutscene at the beginning. I like the dynamic of holding to skip it rather than it just being gone on the next attempt, you know? I think that's pretty cool. I just love the texturing and how clean the glow is to actually create like realistic looking shading instead of just a glowy texture, if that makes sense. It's like a cool usage of glow most of the time. There's so much design that has went into that control panel that you don't really see repeated inside the level, and you do see the ship get destroyed. Ignore the progress bar, it is kind of scuffed because of the cutscene, and I think it was verified without, which makes the progress bar a little bit funky, but yeah. This is such a cool intro to have. I really like this low gravity. I think at first it was a little bit jarring, but once I got used to it, I think this gameplay is so satisfying. I don't know. There's just something about it that just feels so right. And I really like the way that it works with all of the slopes and how it slams you down to the ground at times. It feels very controlled even though it's low gravity. It's a word I'm using a lot, but control is very important if you want to have good dynamics in a GD level. You want the level to feel free, but also to feel like it works, you know? But here we have the most insane part in the level, gameplay-wise. This thing is actually kind of crazy. Okay, we're back into the spaceship. I believe we've rewound time, and we're heading off into the chaos that this level has to offer. This gameplay is actually so amazing. I love how fluid it feels. I just think the camera control is amazing. I love the fact that we're going all over the level. We're going so far up and down, and it doesn't feel like we're out of control at any point. It just looks so good as well. It's really satisfying to just go through and see all these slopes and just feel like we're going in and out of all these tiny little crevices. I love the boxes that we're sitting on here too. Just feels so fluid overall. And then we have this section. It's just my kind of gameplay. I don't know. There's just something about it that feels so right. I love these big orbs that give you so much of a chance to hit everything. Did I die? Did I actually die? That's so tough. I got right to the end. And it doesn't count because I watched the cutscene and got 99%. Dude, the amount of shake in the background and the blocks themselves just make every click feel powerful and make this level feel completely stressful. Especially given the story in it. Nice. Okay, we left. Give me my 9 stars. That was Final Orbit by Blee and More. Decoration Blee, animation MSM12, gameplay Mordrock 7. And then we have a couple of playtesters on screen. That is ridiculous how that was accomplished with such few people.